Kyrtong banya aireng shaka election Lok Sabha na shillong seat parliamentary kila yala kinya ban pynshai paidbah haka rynsan ya pyninia kabalalong ha Sankerdev college kabala pynlong mynta sngi ka Tarik Lber daka Department of Political Science rynkat ka IQAC Jong college. Habalawan ban shim bynta ngut Kyrtong MP bakenthup iuba Robertjune kharjahrin naka RDA ki bakenthup UDP HSPDP Dr Ricky AJ Synkon naka Voice of the People Party ulakon kama kum Kyrtong shimet bat ka Kyrtong naka MPP kakong Ampreen Lyndoh kam shim lapoi satya shakatay ka rynsan naka BJP pat lawan ban mi khmat da UMH kharkrang spokesperson jong ka BJP Henry kat ba Kyrtong jong ka Congress uba Vincent H Palaru poi satya lawan pat ban mi khmat da Manual Baduar hakate ka sngi lawan Sngap Kaei bat kisam la puli na ki college bapher ki badon hakanong ba.
That is the traffic jam. When everything in the world moves so fast, how can you talk about the moving of the state economy when you have to spend 2 hours from Laban to Ampreen to my resident? So that is the big question nobody has answered. Nobody has speak about the traffic jam. There are a lot of provisions there. I've been in Thailand. Just last year, you'll be surprising. In such a congested city, they built a multi-layers flyover. Why not the same thing cannot be done here? There are many provisions where in our underground tunnel. I have seen tunnel in Delhi during the time construction. There are many things that we can do, but nobody has spoken. And the second part perhaps you might reflect back when the BJP government came in 2014. So if you find out they have what happened, reinvent the ministry from 133 to 67 ministry. Out of 67 ministry, if you look at the thrust area of the BJP in that time, water supply is in the third priority of the government. What I am surprised to see here, I have been moving all the 3 states of the Northeast, Sikkim, Nagaland, Kohima, everywhere. You will find people are standing in the queue in the street for collecting water. How much time they are spending in collecting water? And sorry to say, within the urban town of Shillong, not even sufficient drinking water is made available to the citizen. If you go there is a policy. You please go visit the NEC Vision Document 2020. You can see there are also another policy matters regarding drinking water and many other states, many other policy from different ministries. Government of India actually one of them has kept provision 10% gross budget support for the Northeast from each and every ministry. And there are 55 ministries where we can go to 10%. Perhaps the candidate must reflect how much of the 10% has come to the Northeast. These are the questions that we want to take.
As a citizen of this great nation, I would simply go and exercise my right as a citizen to vote on the day of the election, vote for a person or vote for a political party. But then I believe that in life, there is always the push and the pull factors in life. And the condition of the state of ours, I've lived my life, 52 years along with the States, just 50 days elder to the States. So I've seen how our state has grown or not grown over the years. The condition of the state of ours has been one of the reasons that has pushed me to come into electoral politics. And there is a pull factor which I'm glad that in our state we have a leader, our president, Ampreen Lyndoh, whom we've been friends for quite a long time, and I've seen in this person who really understands the need of we are. That is the politics that we're talking today, that our party has been professing, and he has been professing right from 2010 about the need for clean politics. And it is this that has also been the reason to pull me to this ideology. The second part, what do we have as a state? When we look at our state, I believe you all agree with me that our state is endowed with, with vast and rich resources. We talk about natural resources, talk about mineral resources, we talk about water resources, and we talk about the human resources. Indeed, there's none like our state, I would say. After traveling, after seeing different places within India and a few countries outside of India, I would say that God has really indeed blessed our state. But then, where are we after 52 years? When we look at the reports that have been coming from different agencies, which speaks about the condition of our state, it's really, really sad and very depressing. Looking at the condition of our state, we are the poorest state. We talk about education, where we were so proud of, our state, especially Shillong, which was once upon a time the capital the education capital of this part of India. But where are we now? We are at the bottom. Talk about governance, we are right down the bottom. Talk about health care, health services, we are also at the bottom. Talking about cleanliness, we are so proud that, our society, we talk about cleanliness, where we only do it once, maybe in a year, and the same person who cleans the same person would be the reason for the dirt and the filth that is around us. And when we look at the food security, 81% of our people, they are in the primary sector. But sad to say, the report says that we are second from the bottom. When it comes to food security, this is as per the National Food Security Act. Furthermore, when we talk about our society, it's really sad. 41% of our household in this state, they are female-headed household, and 42% of our population live in those households. And you can imagine the condition of those kind of households where the woman has to take the responsibility of managing the entire household. Indeed, and no wonder we are a state which is where poverty is really sad, education is so poor, dropout rate is always on the rise. So these are the picture of our state after 52 years. But as a party, we do have few solutions to offer. Talking about human capital, which we have such a vast potential of human resource. The report says that around 65% of the population in our state, they are youth. So we cannot handle this rich and resource. We are not able to mold this resource, to channelize this resource. Our future is really at stake, because this resource can make or break the future of our state. So as a party, we are really concerned with the youth of the state, and that is why we would like to take up issues. We would like to engage with the government to ensure that the central education institutions, they also cater to the needs of our people in terms of, for example, seats for learning, employment, and even the courses of study. And when we look also at what is happening around the world, especially when we look at what is going on, especially in the eastern part of the world, Southeast Asia, East Asia, you will find this part of the world is going through a difficult time in the days to come. Why I'm saying this is because there is this, the working population is, on the decline, and therefore we see as a party that there is a scope for our youth. We can always export human resource, but to do so, we say as a party that we should prepare our youth, with some of the soft skills. We know that as a society, we are known for our hospitality, and together with the soft skills that we can provide through the various institutions that we have in our state, both the central, the state, and some private institutions, I'm sure we can prepare our youth to move out of the nation. That is what we see. And talking about health, we seriously need to improve the Human Development Index in our state, which is really pathetic. And in the light of this, what we see as a party is that we know that the traditional health practices is one where we can really also look to. Why? Because it has been known, looking at some of the statistics, around 170 countries in the world have also looked at the traditional medical practices or the traditional medical knowledge as an alternative. And in our state, we do have many, such practitioners all over the state. And we believe that when we also talk about sustainable development, we believe that if we promote these people, we can also ensure protection of our forests. That is where they get all the requirements for different kinds to treat different kinds of ailment. So that is on the health. Then we also see that as a party, we've seen, the reason why our state is really going down. And we see that, the work culture and work ethics is an issue which we seriously need to think. We cannot talk of productivity, we cannot talk of, rising up, climbing up the ladder, if we continue with the present work culture, work ethics. So this is where we would want, we would like to take the lead in this and to share to people and to encourage people, encourage the youth, encourage each one of us, and to also let the people know about the dignity of labor, where it is very important. It doesn't matter which job you're holding, but we believe as a party that what is important is whatever job, no matter, to respect the job, to do it with all sincerity, hard work, and with dedication. And this is another issue which we see that we can take the state forward. And our state, which is where tourism has so much of potential. But what we also see is that along with tourism, it is important for to develop the example the Shillong airport. For 40 years, we see this airport. By now, actually, it should have been an international airport. This is what we would like to see. This is really serious. There's no state, no country which talks about tourism, but then
Dr. Ricky, any content?
Yeah. So, and then, well, there are many, but just before I take my seat, I brought here in this bag something which, as a party, we would really love to see, with so much potential that we have. We, as a party, we would like to see innovation in our state. There is so much that we can do. This is a box, like in a box, where we have all the products that, from the state. talk about ginger, you talk about cinnamon, you talk about black pepper, and so on and so forth. These, if processed and packed neatly and presented to the world, I'm sure this will really boost the agricultural sector and also boost the rural economy, and can also take care of the unemployment that we're talking about. Employment is there, opportunities is there. It's just that we need to see. And so as a party, this is what we present to you. And finally, our party has a vision, and that vision is to revive, to restore and transform Meghalaya through principle of clean politics. Thank you.
I think you will agree with me on this point. One will be delegated, which will be not allowed in Parliament. One will be absent, and the others will be late. They all will be late in implementing IMP, late in inclusion in the Khasi language in the age schedule, late in settlement about the disputes, and let's hope that they will be late to change the circular from the Constitution of India and forever. I would like to express my alliance promises based on 3 principles. Our principle will stand to protect the interests of the indigenous people and the residents of the state. We stand to preserve and conserve the identity, the cultures in the state, and thirdly, to promote the welfare of the state for the benefit of the people watching online. I would like to express this in few words in Khasi. Ini yen namta penjada, yang hari bawa kerja dulu pada kejalan. Yen yang benar besar, yang hari tiga dustur pada Sngap Kaei Jong kejalan, berkunjung dulu berketiu, yang kejalan akhirnya bawa. My dear friends, I always believe that leadership is the capacity to translate vision into reality. How we as RDA vision to translate this 3 pillars, the triple P, to protect, to preserve and to promote into reality is fast and all. We need to protect ourselves, and that's why we would like to guarantee you that if you choose RDA, we will ensure to impress upon the government to firstly implement the right permit in the state of India. We will ensure protection of secularism in the rest of India. We restore the secularism and we restore that the right to worship is a fundamental right of each and every individual, and that will remain in India. We will not allow anybody to try to infringe into this right, and we will give our best to ensure that the people in India have the secular consent to worship in whichever God they like, in whichever manner they like, and in whichever day they want to worship their own Almighty. We will also pursue with the government of India to speedily inclusion of Khasi language into the age schedule, settlement of boundary dispute between Meghalaya and Assam, and also to review the settlement already settled in the first phase, and also to once again review the settlement of boundary between India and Bangladesh is also our guarantee to the protection of our own cultures, of our own right and privilege. My dear friends, we also have a promise to preserve and conserve the identity and the cultures that we as the indigenous people and the residents of the state are very much valued. How do we do it? We make sure that we strengthen the schedule. We disagree with the individual and party views that they want to do it away with the schedule. As the people, we strongly believe that we need to strengthen the schedule. We strongly believe that if we strengthen the schedule, especially by review para 12AA, and also to ensure that the council have a similar legislative powers in the light of Article 200 of the Constitution of India, is our guarantee. We will also ensure that direct funding into the local authority like the Robertjune and all will be addressed if you elected us as MP in this election. My dear friends, I don't know how much time will I have left, but the other issue that we would like to see, that how do we promote our own state? We would like to see an inclusive development. And since we have this meeting in college, I would like to tell you what is our vision when it comes to employment. Unemployment and underemployment are issues which is very critical in the state of Malaysia. We would like to promise you that in order to bring employment in the public sector, there is an OM, Office Memorandum, which guarantee that 44% of the ST in central government institutions in Group D and C need to be implemented in letter and spirit. It is very sad to see even after this OM is already been issued, the central government institute has not respected this OM. We will ensure that this OM is implemented in letter and spirit. We do feel that in order to bring employment to the state, introduction of special scheme like soft loan, grant, subsidy, interest-free loan, to start up, to guide, to help the youth to start up their business is very important. Setting up of a special economic zone with special preference to the indigenous people is very important. Because I saw so many youth, they do have talent, they do have a skill, they completed the degree, but they don't have much of capital to invest. Having a special economic zone is very important to allow our youth and to help our youth in starting of the business, and this will go a long way toward providing jobs and employment into our state. And we will also need to see that in contractual jobs, especially in Group C and D, there is a need for 100% reservation to the local people of the state. This will also help us in others to ensure that the people get employment. The other vision that we have is to make sure that the farmers and the laborers get the dignified life. The farmers, they have spent the entire day ensuring that the country get the food to eat. What did we do at the end of the day? We are very happy to buy it at a lesser price. The absence of minimum support price to agricultural products and also to minor forest product has put our problem in a difficulty. You see, in this few days, the broomstick, the price of broomstick is very less. The price of butternut also is very less. The price of gingers also is very less. I do feel that with market intervention scheme and with minimum support price, this will help our farmer to get a meaningful and a just price to what they have already spent their energy in ensuring that we have the food to eat. Soft loan and interest-free loan to farmers is very important, because without this, the farmers will not be able to increase their agricultural activity. So we feel that this is very important. Setting up of an agro-based industry in the state will go a long way toward ensuring that our people and our farmers get a meaningful right to live. Healthcare is very important in our state. I used to say that most of the people of our state has to spend a lot of money in other states. There is a drain of wealth from our state because we have to go for so many healthcare to Assam and to other states. If we could have a proper healthcare, if we could open up a branch of Negrin, maybe in other part of the district, this will go a long way toward toward helping our people, especially the poor. I do feel that India need to have a drug-free policy. The poor find very difficult even to get medicine. If we have a drug-free policy where medicine will be given for free for certain diseases, I do feel this will go a long way to ensuring that the people have that meaningful right to health. Right to health has been declared by the Supreme Court as a fundamental right. But this right till date does not get the proper enforceable. I do feel that free drug policy, especially to BPL and underprivileged people, will go a long way in ensuring that the people have a good health care. My dear friends, we also guarantee to review and relook and revisit the impact of Central Land Law and Central Forest Act into our state. The land law, especially the MMDR Act, is not compatible to the land tenure system that we have. That's why we find it very difficult in getting license in mining list. I don't believe in unregulated mining, but we believe that the law that we have must be in accordance with the land tenure system that we have. We have a different land tenure system comparable to the rest of India. If this is not respected, I do feel that our right on our land and resources is not respected. The Honorable Supreme Court has already declared that the minerals and the land belong to the individual and the clan and the community in the state of Meghalaya. So I do feel that we need to review and revisit how the MMDR Act, which clearly say that you need to lease your own mineral, your own land from the government who is not the owner of the land. This is something that we will try to relook and revisit. The fact that the President of India has not given an assent to the demand of the Meghalaya Legislative Assembly to exempt MMDR Act is something that we would like to pursue in this election. And if elected, we would like to have a proper discussion with the government of India to ensure that our land right is respected at the earliest. Last but not the least, my dear friends, we have a bigger problem. Each and every family in our society now has the biggest problem, and that biggest problem is how we challenging the rampant selling of illegal drugs into the state of Meghalaya. If we look into this issue, let me finish with this point. If we look on this issue, we know that most of the drugs, especially cocaine and heroin, has been transported from outside the state into our state. So we feel that we need to strengthen an anti-narcotic cell, especially to ensure that this drug came from outside need to be stopped at all costs. Drug is a global problem. We would like to ensure that the external affairs in the government of India has to impose sanctions on those countries who used to produce illegal drugs. And I do feel that if we can do this, we will see a much better future in our state. Thank you so much.
It's time to give my gratitude to everybody, but I give my gratitude to the college, especially for inviting us today. I think it's a wonderful opportunity for various parties to come and present and talk about the various things that are important, especially for the young generation. I'll start my speech, or whatever you say, by a poem. It's written by this person called Martin Nummler, a German. It was a post-war poem. Very simple. It says that first they came for the communists and I didn't speak out because I was not a communist. Then they went for the socialists, I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists. Again I didn't speak out because I was not a trade union. They went for the Jews. I didn't speak out. I wasn't a Jew. Then they came for me. But then there's nobody else to speak for me. It's a very important, it's in fact in a museum in New York, in the Holocaust Museum, it carries a whole lot of weight. And it's important when I say this is because not just in India alone, but the world over, fanaticism is taking shape and things is moving towards that. And it's extremely important, especially when you live in a secular country like ours, where atrocities can be created very easily, especially when it's a republic, which is guided by the rule of the land rather than the democratic process as such. And for especially political science students, you will understand that very much. It is important because the hatred is being propagated. It is important because in today's world, we point fingers whether you're a Muslim or you're a Hindu. We point fingers whether you're a mynta or you're a cookie. We've started pointing fingers whether you're a Khasi or you're a Gao. And that movement is trickling down to each and every part of our society, which is extremely bad. And I believe that it is very, very critical for us to come to an understanding that these kind of divisive powers has to be stopped. If you listen to what Professor Kumar had mentioned earlier, that even in Nehru, there have been efforts made to bring that divisive thing. There's another department which is Science and Technology Center. They're trying to ensure that people come to work on a Sunday as well, without respecting certain parts of certain things of what we inculcate as a society. Anyway, but that keeping aside, I'd like to express to you what the Congress wants to talk about, at least in this election that is coming this time. What is important is that we should understand that India has already reached a $3 trillion economy and is definitely poised to become the second largest in another 5 to 10 years. See, the growth trajectory of any economy is simple. As long as you have a large market, which is the biggest of course in this country, you have a productive workforce, and you have certain policies that will direct towards that, the economy will grow. And it's like a snowball effect. Once the economy grows, it keeps on growing. You don't have to worry much about it. But the trajectory in which it is growing is most important. After 10, 15 years of liberalization, or 20 years of liberalization, you will notice that each economy that liberalizes itself starts growing at a trajectory which is far, far stronger. China took only 15 years to reach 8 trillion, 9 trillion. So India itself is growing. What I'm trying to pinpoint here is that at the end of the day, each and every Indian will become better off than he was 10 years back. Now, the point is, how do we ensure that whatever growth is happening in the country reaches to the grassroots level, the bottom of the pyramid so-called? What I fear most is that the bottom of the pyramid is not benefiting from the economic growth. Do you know that in the global hunger index, India is ranked 111 as of today? And it's not improving. It is not improving because of various things. Because of the fact that economic development has not reached that level. So economic development, the way I see it, at least as far as the government is concerned, the current government is concerned, is that it is not reaching out to the people that need it. It reaches out only to the top economics of our society. And that is important for us to understand. So what I'm saying is that Congress has come with these 5 promises. And these are important promises. It's not made by me or made by the Congress party alone. We have had these meetings across the country. In fact, even in Shillong, we had a meeting with some concerned citizens who had participated along and come. It was a heated meeting, there's no denying about that, but at least the points that came out were strong. And believe it or not, I'll tell you that a few points were taken even from there. I'll give you one example especially which is relevant, and this is a promise in which the Congress is making this time, saying that the economic development is happening, but at the same time it should benefit. You know, I'll tell you that in Meghalaya itself, most of the students, especially when you graduate from your college, when you start searching for jobs, you will be underpaid. Believe it or not, I'm telling you this. Most of the corporations and the business houses would like to pay you peanuts and treat you like monkeys. I'm sorry to use that unparliamentary language. The point is, why? We are trying to tell you that when you graduate, for the first year itself, you will have to enact a law to ensure that at least for the first year as an apprentice, you will be paid 8,500 rupees per month. What happens is that each and every employer will be mandated to pay. So it will help each and every graduate to at least get a safe salary within the first year of working itself. So that by the time you approach your second year, you will not be underpaid. And that is very, very critical. I'm telling you, as students, when you start joining the workforce, you will understand the value of what this is. And this is important because I think it's not just our political party, but many parties should start looking at this. Especially for a state like ours, which is so critical. And people are underpaid. That is one of the promises in which the Congress is saying. And believe it or not, this just didn't come out of thin air. This came out because we had discussions with a lot of people. We had discussions with Nehru Students' Union, we had discussions with students all over the place. And for which we came to an understanding that yes, this is important. The second, especially the jig workers, the so-called unorganized sector. When you, again, especially young students, when you go to the corporate or you start working in real life, you'll understand what is the difference between an organized and an unorganized sector. An unorganized sector is a sector in which there's no regulation, where people can hire you at whatever rate they want to, and people can fire you anytime they want to, which is highly prevalent in this part of this country. You will notice even migrants nowadays don't want to recruit people anymore. They want to go through an agency. The agency is because under his name, they will recruit you. The agency is taking full credit that I have given job, but at the end of the day, it's him, it's migrants who's given job. But it's going through the unorganized sector where migrants does not have to treat you like an organized sector individual. So they can hire and fire you anytime. We want to stop that. And I think it's very critical for us to stop that. I think that is one of the other promises in which the Congress party is trying to make this time. The other thing is, especially daily wage laborers, highly critical. Our economy is run only on daily wage laborers, especially in Shillong and Meghalaya. Do you know what we say? That there should be a social security system in place, a very robust one at that, to ensure that such people are not left in the lurch when difficulty comes in their houses. They should be given some insurance, and that also a very good insurance plan. It could be health insurance, it could be life insurance, at least a coverage of nothing less than 10 lakhs. It has started, and there's a pilot being done right now in a state called Tarik. And believe it or not, I believe that such an insurance plan, especially for the jig workers or the daily wage laborers, is highly critical. The other promises in which the party is making is saying that secure employment is also extremely important, especially the contractualization of work when it comes to government jobs. You see, we are a state in which there are 37, 38 lakhs population. But if you look at the government jobs, the count of government jobs here hardly 1.5. You look at Sikkim. Sikkim is a 98 lakhs population, but the count of government jobs is in excess of 2 lakhs. So the percentage of government jobs that are available, if the state mechanism would have functioned much better than it is, rather than all the loot that is happening, there's an ample opportunity to create even better jobs in the government. and effective jobs, I might say. So that is another thing I think, at least from the Congress perspective, we are looking at it in a very, very serious way and have given it one of the promises. The fifth promise that I'd like to talk about is also what we call as this, the plan, especially for entrepreneurs. So we have entrepreneurs at every level. What we've been seeing, and as I said earlier, that the Indian economy is only growing, but growing only to the top echelons. We want to change that. We want to change that economic development to go to the lower section. And for which the corpus of funds in which we have already seen that it's being done by the various governments, but we'd like to reach out even more. More towards the rural belt, more towards the people who actually need, and not just the fluff which is on top. We will not obviously just run schemes on wine making, which we obviously know that wine making is being made by only the privileged lot of the society, but we'll do other things which is more important. Maybe we'll be able to reach out. And these are the only 5 promises. Maybe we'll discuss a little bit more, and thank you very much for it.
We also have to be mindful of the fact that time is also of an essence. Well, I stand here, you asked, fumbled by a little bit by the moderator, with due regards to him. Every now and then I get the prefix Pa in front of my surname. So I end up becoming Pakama from Kama. So let's set the record straight. I'm Professor Lakon Kama. It is Kama, and Pakma has nothing to do with Kama per se, although they sound very similar. Well, like I said, I'm an independent candidate, and this decision I took very, very consciously. Simply because, because it's genuine, so I'm not going into the detail of what I'm going to do if you choose me as your MP whenever the election is held. However, it was my conscious decision to stand as an independent candidate because, yes, with due respect to the views and ideologies which is offered by the candidates and their representatives representing various parties, I have a slightly different view on a lot of things, and somehow I don't, with due respect, I don't subscribe to any of those ideologies per se. With due regards, of course, they will substantiate why they stand for their own ideology. Well, I will put up 2 parts that what an MP is supposed to do. First thing first, almost I would say, 2/3 or more. A job of an MP is outside the state. And that's where it is important for all of you to see your candidate, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter from which party a candidate stands. Simply because these 7 districts that we have sends only 1 MP to the Lok Sabha. It really doesn't matter, especially if you are from a bigger party and you don't speak at all in the parliament, which we have seen with due respect to my current MP, who is also a good friend. If you don't speak, you are as good as being an independent. And then, of course, any of us from any parties who are here, if you elect us, I think we are independent. More so it is important because I am already independent here. I don't stand alone. I stand alone, and you must have seen my video in my YouTube channel at the rate Lakon Kama. I have been speaking because you need to listen to me. I am the candidate. I am the one you are sending crossing the border of Meghalaya. Once I'm outside Meghalaya, I'm alone. And that's what I said. When I decided to stand as an independent candidate, it was my conscious decision that I need to stand here. If I'm not independent here in my own state, in my own comfort zone, leaving aside when I cross the border of Meghalaya, I will be able to stand alone. And inside the parliament, and that's where it is the most important part of the game, inside the parliament alone, 1 MP from this 7 districts will be standing to echo the voice of the people of these 7 districts. Yes, governance is equally important, but they have their own MP to address the issue inside the parliament. But for these 7 districts, you have only 1 guy. Why not send the best person, because he or she will be independent anyway, irrespective of from which party they belong, and that's why. That's very interesting simply because it is nothing unique. So far we have been sending 16 MPs, out of which 6 times it was independent MP. First second and third MP from Meghalaya was an independent candidate. The second one, of course, in the year 1957 and 62, who were in Utah, he was independent. He defeated Congress and Regional Congress. In 67 and 72, Professor G.G. Swell was independent candidate, defeating the Congress and the Regional Party. He again came back 4 times. 84, after 67, 72, 84, and 96, he won as an independent candidate. This is important. Why I have to stress, because I do see in social media people asking me that, all sort of very, as if some candidates are dependent on my standing as a candidate to win or lose the election, which is totally absurd. Because I think we have to give due regard to all the candidates, because each one is trying his or her best to win your votes through their vision that we have. My vision that I have is 15, 20 years down the line. When we grow, because this is important for all the youngsters here who are looking for a job, there is no job in the state. I'm worried because I have a young daughter who just finished her class 10 and she will be in class, and one is finishing tomorrow class 12, and I have a son who is class 9. Now we don't have jobs who are passing out from our colleges in the state of Meghalaya. The one who is passing out from master degree from the university, getting their PhD scholars who has got their PhD degree and not gainfully employed. I'm worried. If I was not worried, I would not get into this frame. The whole idea why I came is, I have almost lost all my faith in the system, but I still have little bit, maybe 5%, 10% that we may be able to revive. We have to revive, because this state, if you don't wake up now, and that's what I said, this is the time when we decide that we are going to build a new Meghalaya. I am not here only to fight MP election. This is just a starting point, and I've said this again. My winning and losing really has no consequence vis-a-vis my standing for the cause that I'm looking for. That down the line, 15, 20 years, all of us, our villages, all of us are gainfully employed. We have the best of the infrastructure, and that's where it's important. And for in current times, of course, one other aspect that is worrying me is, I look around this current dispensation at the center and also in the state, there seems to be least bother for smaller groups of people living in the hill state. They seems to be imposing all sort of things, and I feel that when they come back again to power in this 2024 election, I don't know what kind of change they're going to bring. And this is where you need to send somebody who can stand in front of Prime Minister, Home Minister, Finance Minister and say that don't play around with our Constitution. Because as long as you respect the Constitution, we are one nation. The day you try to trigger around the Constitution, the whole fundamental structure of the Constitution, because I do see that secularism is at stake. Secularism is at stake in the current dispensation. I see, because as a faculty of the university, I see what kind of people are being sent to the university. It's the same mindset that is going to sit in everywhere, and I'm concerned, deeply concerned, that you need to send somebody who can stand in the floor of Parliament alone and tell this current dispensation, please don't play around with the Constitution of India, because this Constitution binds us as one country. The day you tinker around and play around with the Constitution, I'm telling you, this country is going to break into pieces. And that's why they weren't ever dared to touch the secular fabric of, because we have seen months and months has gone by. Since 2014, I do see that a particular dispensation, a particular ideology is being propagated to an extent that I'm really fed up to hear. And that's where I think it is important that we make sure that when we reach Parliament, and if you choose me as a candidate, as your MP, this is what I'm going to do. I'm not there to, if I was looking for comfort, I don't have to be in the Parliament. I'm much more comfortable in New. The point that I have chosen to stand was because I don't see any ray of hope that somebody can raise our voice, because we have seen people are all compromised in their own ways, whether in the state or in the center. You need a voice in the Parliament to say that this is what is the voice of the people of Meghalaya. This is the voice of the 7th district that we have. That we will express our concern. I don't understand why we are still backward to the highest order. We will be second or third from the last in any index of development. What is the reason? Such a tiny state. You start from Guwahati, go to Delhi, maybe 3.5 hours, you will complete the breadth. Go from Jaita Hills to, say, western side of our state, maybe 5-6 hours. Yesterday, the UP where 2 days you have to travel by train only to cross this border, they are much more developed. Simply because I have already adopted a zero tolerance policy on corruption and corrupt practices, simply because I believe that if we don't practice clean politics, and I'm not here, I've always said this, I'm a teacher first. What I say is record here and you will be recording it. I stand here and whatever I'm saying, I stand by it, and you will see that my wife is also present here and she's, of course, all the time in my campaign, not just to add beauty to my campaign, but it's also important that she listens to what I say. Tomorrow if I become rogue, you elect me and I become rogue, you can make her accountable because she is witness to whatever promise I have made. And I stand here with a firm commitment that I am not here to earn money. I have done enough for myself. Time has come that I give back to the state. And I believe that if you elect me as your MP, I will be the one raising your concern that why we are backward, why there is so much of corruption, why there is no development in the last 52 years, how long will we wait? And this is the question I ask myself. If it was possible for me to wait, I would have waited 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. We are already late vis-a-vis the development from this concern. And hence, it is important that right now I can't even wait for a day to stand and make my voice clear to everyone that I am here to bring a ray of hope. Not because I am somebody who has been exposed to all sorts of things. I've done my schooling entirely outside the state. From Arunachal Pradesh, right from class KG to class 12. I stayed in the US almost for 18 months. I have visited Rome, I have visited Kharjahrin and so on and so forth. I have seen how development is brought. You stay in the US, you don't know from where, I think I must remember, you don't know from where gas is coming. You don't know from water is coming. You don't know where your water is going in the drain. Drain is not visible to you. I stayed in medical college, in medical college of Wisconsin, which is 2 hours drive from Chicago. So, I will just stop. So, there 8 months there is snowfall. Not a single day light went off. This is what we are 100 years behind as a country. We as Meghalaya are 200 years behind the US. And to change this narrative, I have come into frame. I would look forward to your support. And I need your support not because I want to become an MP. I think my salary is probably better than an MP salary as a professor of university. It has to be made very clear. I'm not here to earn a living. I am here to contribute. And my friends, I stand here as a candidate who will raise the concern. And I'm not afraid. I have lived with people from outside this state all my life. I know what the psyche is. I know how to tackle people in Delhi. I know how to raise my voice. Because come what may, I don't ban. I may die fighting a cause. I will not ban. Thank you very much.
India will be a $6.9 trillion economy by 2028. The economy will cross $5 trillion by the year 2026. Fitch Ratings have raised India's growth forecast for 24-25 by 7%. This is the new India that we are looking at, which has been developed for the last 1 decade. Greetings from the Bharatiya Janata Party to all of you. But I am Kyrtong MP principal of Sankerdev College, but a faculty member who As soon as our government took over in 2014, we recognized the urgent need to revamp and overhaul the system and processes to help India advance on the path of development. Right from spearheading the digital revolution to elimination of open defecation, India has achieved remarkable milestones under our new governance paradigm. We have addressed the inherited legacy of inefficiencies through simplification and rationalization of laws. Adopting a trust-based and responsive delivery machinery. Ease of doing business reforms to unleash the potential of every sector. Contrary to piecemeal delivery in the past, we have achieved saturation coverage for all deserving beneficiaries. We shifted the welfare focus from entitlement-based support to empowering individuals by integrating them to the formal sector. The initiation of the reform process started yielding positive results in the early years of the government by improving investor climate and creating a favorable outlook for the economy. The industrialists who earlier shied or preferred to invest in foreign countries were enticed to come back and invest in his own country. And especially, the best part was that foreign direct investment increased in our country. Both domestic and foreign investors exhibit high optimism regarding India's growth potential, anticipating abundant opportunities as the economy expands. The Indian economy has gone through structural reforms that have strengthened the micro fundamentals of the economy. These resulted in India changing from the fragile 5 to the top 5 in just about a decade. As the economy was transformed into a more resilient avatar amidst a challenging global environment. The rise of the Indian economy in the last 10 years was unprecedented in spite of the obstacles of external origin, example the pandemic and the geopolitical disturbances. This has been manifested in the trajectory of the GDP, when in 2014, India was the 10th largest economy, and today, India is the 5th largest economy, and by the IQAC projections, it is expected to be the 3rd largest economy another 2 to 3 years from now. Our government of the nation first was transform the quality of India's infrastructure and logistics ecosystem, which will be the key to investment and expand its presence in global value chains. When our government, just to give an example, when our government took over in 2014, the rate of laying down of the national highway was 12 kilometers per day. Today it has increased by 2.3 times to 28 kilometers per day. That is the pace of development we are looking at. And the public welfare through empowerment and effective delivery. Empowerment through welfare has been the phrase of our government. Prioritizing universal access to basic amenities and a participatory mission mode approach and actualizing this philosophy. Our government used technology as a vehicle for social empowerment. Our government has innovated the delivery infrastructure besides widening the social security net. The emphasis on entrepreneurship through Startup India, large-scale provision of accessible credit through Mudra Yojana, unskilling HHGs and loans to street vendors through the PM Swadnidhi reflects our government's focus on empowering job creators from all sections of society. Another thoughtful policy, given the country's demography and occupation profile, is the accessibility of affordable social security scheme for the unorganized sector. Reform tax ecosystem and robust revenue growth has resulted in an increase in revenue collection. Far-reaching tax reforms of the past decade has put in place effective systems that have improved revenue collection and compliances. Looking back or coming nearer home, the northeastern India. Just recently, Prime Minister Modi has laid down 56,000 crores just over the northeast, and Haryana is one of the states which will be benefited from that. They have also laid down 10,000 crores just for the industrial development of the northeast. And the central government has come up with a policy knowing fully well that many of the northeastern states and across the nation too is facing this drug problem among the youth. The Prime Minister has brought out a program called the Nasha Mukht Bharat Abhiyan, which will fight the drug menace. Our government, our political and policy stability recognize the need to make tough decisions for the greater economic good of the country as a whole. Restoring dynamism in the economy, optimism in our minds and pride in our achievements was a task that was left for us to achieve. We accepted the challenge recognizing the public life is about winning hearts, minds and heads of the people. Instilling their confidence about the future and that of the children to commit them. Yet, we are not resting on our laurels. There are miles to go and mountains to scale before we see how much India as a chief, because by 2047 we want India to be not to be a developing country, but to be a developed country. A last question I want to ask you: why should you vote for the BJP? This is an extraordinary election where everyone knows who will be leading the party in 2024, even before the first ballot paper has been cast. I can ask anyone on the streets, everyone knows that the BJP is coming back to power. They always say, you can fool a person once, but you cannot fool a person twice. Can 80 crore people, electorate of this great nation of ours, be fooled 3 times? I doubt it, and I'm very sure no. Why? Because each of these 80 crore people will be bringing back the BJP power. They know and they have seen what this party has done for the nation. And I hope that you all should be a part of that government. Would you like your member of parliament that you voted? Would you like him to be in the treasury bench or the opposition? I leave it to you. And if you ask me, if I was a layperson, I would definitely say I want my MP that I voted, I want him to be in the treasury bench. And we as the state leaders here will ensure that this MP that you vote from the BJP, that he delivers. We will ensure that for you. And remember, BJP, in the last, when we brought the name of ticket for more than 100 candidates, 30 sitting MPs will not given the ticket again. Why? Because of non-performance. That is the beauty of this party. You may, being a daughter or being a son of a neta, a senior neta will not help you. Being a sitting MP will not guarantee you for a ticket. Your performance will ensure you that you get a ticket. So we will ensure that the MP that you have voted, that he performs so that he can come again the next term as your MP. And I remember, I will just read through this quotation. We should measure the prosperity of a nation not by the number of millionaires that we have, but by the absence of poverty, the prevalence of health, the efficiency of the public schools, and the number of people who can do and read worthwhile books. And this is what the BJP will deliver to you if you consider that the BJP is the best party for you. I've seen the other panelists talking about secular. Probably we will have to debate a different session probably on secular, because I have a lot of grounds to defend that BJP is very much a secular party.